All right, we are down to 2 lessons in Outcome 1. Today we will be talking about biomes. You should have your guided notes out in front of you, ready to fill them in. There are some extra prompts in these that you'll need to either pause the video and fill in, or you can come back later and do them on your own. So our guided question is, how do abiotic factors, how do non-living factors determine the biotic factors of biomes? Now, while you're remembering, hopefully, what abiotic and biotic mean, I'm just going to point out that we have 3 different ecosystems here. This one we know is going to be cold, maybe somewhat sunny, because we see penguins here. Right? Here we have, we're probably already getting hot looking at this. There's a toucan with a massive beak. This is going to be a tropical rainforest or equivalent. And here we know that it's going to be hot and dry because it's a desert and it has a snake in it. So already we know in our heads that abiotic factors like temperature and rainfall, those are non-living factors, can determine what lives in various biomes. Okay? So here are some more examples of living or biotic factors in ecosystems. The biotic is anything living, so animals, microbes like fungi or bacteria, protists, and also the plant life. Okay? Abiotic factors are any factors that are non-living. So we have temperature, amount of water, soil quality or composition. So how much sand is in the soil, how much silt, how deep is the soil before it hits rock, right? All of that can determine which plants grow there and sometimes which animals can live there as well. The air quality, how much oxygen is in there. Even some pollutants are going to affect the air quality. And how much sunlight is going into this ecosystem. This is going to be determining the amount of primary production or photosynthesis. So this is obviously an important factor. So this is a very unique graph that we're going to focus on in one of the worksheets that you're about to do. And this takes a look at the combination of temperature and precipitation. So this is what we define climate to be. Okay, so climate is determined by the combination of temperature and precipitation. And on the y-axis here, there's our precipitation. On the x-axis is our average temperature throughout the year. And we can see that different biomes, okay, a tropical rainforest, for example, would have a very high average annual temperature, but it would also have a very high amount of annual precipitation. Okay. On the other end of that is the tundra, where we have not very much rainfall at all, probably some of the lowest amounts of rainfall and a very low average annual temperature. You can have similar temperatures in the subtropical desert as you would see in the tropical rainforest, but the amount of water determines whether it's a rainforest or a desert. So that's kind of interesting. Okay, so the biome is going to be a large geographic area. There are several of them listed here, and they are characterized by specific climate conditions, plant life, and animal life. So back to our question, how do abiotic factors determine the biotic factors of a biome? Well, these are abiotic factors, right? Precipitation and annual temperature are the 2 main abiotic factors that determine what kind of biome it becomes, and therefore what kind of animals can live there. So one other graph that you'll need to familiarize yourself with is this climatogram. Sometimes we call it a climograph or a climatograph. It's all the same thing here. This one actually has 3 axes, so let's go through those. On the x-axis, we have 2 notations, January and December. So we know that, probably without even counting, that these are going to be the months of the year. This is time, okay? And, or seasons, I guess. On this side, we have precipitation. So these are the units of precipitation measured in millimeters. And on this axis, we have different units, and this is going to indicate the temperature in Celsius. Okay, we'll go over that in a second. The dots in the graph are going to be temperature. The bars are going to be the precipitation. Okay, so make sure you're not mixing those up. And this is the climatogram from Kankakee County. We have a fair bit of rain, and we have, I don't know, I guess just what we might call normal temperatures. But we do go up we do have a warmer summer and colder winter, so you can see that kind of fluctuation. Okay, one last thing to put in your mind is the use of Celsius. We don't do this much in the United States, but the rest of the world uses Celsius, and so we're going to go over that a second. 0 degrees Celsius is freezing. It's actually a really simple system. I wish we did use it, but I digress. 20 degrees Celsius is room temperature. 100 degrees Celsius is boiling. Okay, so I'm going to encourage you in your guided notes to figure out what the equivalent is in Fahrenheit and see if you can plug those in. You're going to be using these climatograms to complete one of the worksheets. I think you're going to be looking at several different biomes. So have fun with this, do some great graph reading, and keep pushing.